Welcome to The New Next, a podcast that addresses current events and how they will impact the future. Co-hosted by the inquisitive public speaking champion, Mike McVeigh, and energy, economics, and technology expert, Matt Jensen. Join us as we explore all things energy, economic, tech, and political, and how they will affect our future. All right, so surging retail inventories are swamping U.S. warehouses. Or my version of this, people don't know how to plan accordingly, and because they planned so bad for March of 2020 onward, they're now over planning, trying to make sure, just in case we have another incident, that we can make sure to carry everything. So Matt,
Prologis, which is basically the biggest,
am I right? Dinosaurs.
Logistics real estate provider in the United States. They run tons of warehouses that basically allow people to store their inventory there without building their own warehouse. Said that their growth in inventories could lead to them building another 500 million square feet of warehouse space, which is massive. And when we talked a couple of months ago about how I kind of felt that you'd almost have a whip back of lower prices, like price deflation through price cuts and et cetera, because a lot of these retailers had overbought, essentially. Part of that due to the recession or recession effects, and part of that due to just that shipping was so fragmented, getting stuff from China because of port closures, but also the massive dislocation that they had based on the massive amount of demand for essentially Chinese goods throughout COVID, and kind of the e-commerce boom on that it was hard. It was hard to find capacity to get your shipping. So stuff was delayed a lot. And second, you'd be paying so much that I think a lot of people, to lower their price per unit, just bought a whole container of stuff and waited for it in there. So now that that's already started to arrive, there's been a giant building of inventory for stuff that, when people were stuck at home, they were buying a lot more goods to make their home look nice and do stuff like that. And now that people are back at work, there's just not the demand for that. So it's an interesting trend, right. I think, is whether these goods are going to be sold at discount, and also if they're just going to be thrown in a warehouse somewhere to sit on the shelves. I know that Amazon has cut some warehouse projects that they were planning on building or delayed them. So it will be interesting to see what this really indicates on inflation for certain goods, and what's going to kind of be the future for storing all these excess goods for retailers like Walmart, Target, etc.
Yeah. As someone that's in the supply industry, I still feel like this is more of overcompensating for not being prepared for COVID, more than anything else. I think that, I think if they get the 500 million square feet, or even honestly, I'd say even 100 million square feet, it's going to be overkill in the long run. Like when I say long run, I don't mean like 10 to 20 years from now. I mean like maybe 2 to 3 years from now. They're going to be like, oh crap, we bought way too much. I understand. I mean, we've talked about envelopes specifically, but there's other products that I will say the prices have not gone up as much as I would have thought. And other like paper envelopes have gone up in price. In fact, they just went up again. Yay. but most products have actually stayed fairly similar. And the ones that have gone up, there have been new attachments and stuff, new features and stuff. I think it's going to backfire. I think the prices will lower on a lot of the products that can be dated. So, I mean, it makes me think of that Big Bang episode where they're like, well, what happens if we add Bluetooth to it? And she's like, why would you add Bluetooth to this thing you put in your hair? And they're like, everything's better with Bluetooth. So if there's one little feature that people end up getting on and this stuff is stocked up and that doesn't have that feature, they're definitely going to lose money on that. And then they're going to lose money on having that extra storage space that's not as beneficial. If this was, if these were supplies that we could actually use right now,
yeah,
like, and they were like, it's something that we know is going to, like, we know we're going to need toilet paper 3 months from now. So if this is all for toilet paper, maybe it wouldn't be such a bad idea, but it's going to be for stuff that most likely is, I mean, like if it's electronics and stuff, by the time it even gets out of there, it's already going to be so outdated. It's going to make Amazon deals, Prime Day look horrible because
Hobby Lobby is
buy a
getting their
58-inch TV
Easter
for
stuff
1 cent.
Right now.
Might have mold damage or something. I don't want to have mold damage. Yeah. They're not working on Christmas of 2025 yet. I feel like this is an overreaction. I'm all for having, in fact, I want my supply room to have extra stuff, just in case there is an emergency, but you have to also know where to cut it and just say, that it's not excess. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't know how much of it's going to affect us this winter, but I would imagine winter of 2023, we're going to really see, how effective everything is. So if we don't have some kind of contingency that forces us to either like another COVID type reaction or some other kind of worldwide catastrophe, I think we're going to see some stuff being on sale. If you would like to learn more about the New Next podcast, find us at thenewnextpodcast.com, where you can suggest a topic you would like for us to cover. If you enjoyed what you heard, share the podcast, tell a friend about it, or rate us with 5 stars.